So, you've learned about the law of attraction, the law of assumption, maybe some other laws of the universe. And here you are consciously trying to manifest things into your life. And yet bad things are happening. What's going on? You've been affirming, you've been scripting, you've been visualizing, you've been doing all the things you're supposed to be doing to manifest these things into your reality, and yet bad things are happening. What's going on here? Stick with me in this video and I will explain to you why this happens and why this is actually a good thing. Hello, my beautiful people. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Grady and I'm the counselor and transformational coach at Butterfly Project. So maybe you are new to manifesting, being a conscious manifester, learning about the laws of the universe like law of attraction or law of assumption, or you've been following, some great teachers like Neville Goddard, and you've been doing all the work and things are starting to go wrong and some things go bad and, bad events, might happen. And maybe that thing that you were trying to manifest just isn't working out and you don't understand what is going on. Well, here is something that a lot of people in the community do not talk about when we're talking about consciously manifesting, okay? And this is that good and bad things have to happen for you to get your desire, okay? So if you are new to, consciously manifesting and the laws of the universe, like I said, basically in a nutshell, your thoughts and beliefs and assumptions are what create your reality. It's actually pretty simple, right? So when we're talking about, manifesting a desire, right? You think if I just change my thoughts, my beliefs, if I do, techniques to manifest what I want in my life. And manifesting, that word, and some people call it being a conscious creator, right? So creating something in your life. You're actually not creating anything. You're aligning yourself with that desire because it's already been created. It already exists in the quantum field in some realm. It already exists. So you're just aligning yourself with that reality, with that version of you that has the desire that you want. So we're not creating anything, we're not changing anything. And manifesting, or the word manifest, just actually means made appear real. Okay, so it basically just brings it into your awareness. If you think about, whatever you're focusing on, right? When you're manifesting, if you're, not focusing on something, or you're focusing on something that isn't your desire, it's kind of like, when we come out of, the picture frame of maybe, a camera, right? That if we're not focused on it, that's not what we're going to get. And whatever we are focused on, that's what we're going to get. So, as I was saying before, good and bad things have to happen to get you your desire. There are people that need to do things that need to be shifted around and moved. Lots has to happen in order for you to get your desire, depending on what the desire is. So lately there's been lots of stories, and I've always had lots of stories that I share with, my clients. And, as I've been a conscious manifestor now for quite a few years, and I teach this, to all of my clients, but lots of things have happened for me that I don't really realize the bad events that are happening were actually happening to bring me my desire, what I truly, wholeheartedly wanted, okay, and had in my heart, right? My heart's desire. And I had no idea that these bad things were happening to get me there until after the fact. This is another term that we call the bridge of incidents, but you will not know what the bridge of incidents is until after the fact. That's why they say, 2020 is hindsight is 2020, right? When we're looking back, now we realize, oh, that's why that happened. We start connecting the dots, but we can't really do that beforehand. So some people think that, they know what the bridge of incidents are, but no. Our minds, okay, our ego minds is very small in comparison to, consciousness, right? God, the universe, the divine, whatever it is that you believe in. So our minds are pretty small in comparison because we only have a linear view, and our imagination is limited, but our view of how we get things is very linear. It's kind of like this, has to happen for this to happen, for that to happen, right? It's a very linear fashion. And actually, consciousness, creation, the creator, universe, God, the divine, actually can, access the divine matrix and be able to bring you what it is that you want in the most unexpected ways, in the oddest ways, the weirdest ways. Like I've heard, some really outrageous stories of how people have gotten something. Like it's pretty incredible, actually. And it never ceases to amaze me, no matter how long I have been doing this, and teaching people this. Like, just people share their stories with me, and it's so amazing, every time. And I shouldn't be amazed, because I know that, this is how our universe works. However, it's just pretty incredible. So I have many stories. Like I said, lots of people have shared, their stories with me. And, I don't want to make this a long video, but I'll share one just to explain how bad things have to happen for you to get your desire. So I had sold my home, or was in the process of selling my home. Because I was going through a separation and divorce with my ex-husband, and I really, needed a very big place for me and my children at this point where I was in my life. I had 3 cats. I was coming from a very large, like over 2,000 square foot home. Lots of furniture, big furniture, I needed a lot of space, and a lot of the places that I was looking at renting were not large. They were pretty small. Even, some of the houses and things like that, they were still very, very small. Definitely couldn't go into an apartment. I needed, several bedrooms. And so I was looking around, and I found this place, and I was kind of a little bit in the outskirts, a little bit more of a industrial area. The bus route didn't go there, but it didn't matter. I had a vehicle, I was thinking, that's fine. And I found a place, and it was brand new, and I absolutely loved it. It was perfect, everything that I wanted, almost perfect. There was a little, kind of issue with it. They were supposed to be sold units. They ended up having to be renters because they couldn't get approved for a second suite in the same unit. And I thought, whatever, I had an older daughter, that would be perfect. So I thought this place was perfect. It had a 2-car attached garage. I could, store a lot of my stuff in there because I didn't know if this was going to be long-term or not. Anyway, long story short, I had put in my application. I knew when I wanted the place because I wanted to move out of my home so that I could clean it out, stage it, to be able to sell a lot easier than living in the home and not be disrupted. And so they had availability, right away. So this was really great. And it was, actually in the middle of winter. Anyways, these were brand new. I put in my application. Couple weeks go by, 3 weeks go by. I'm messaging, what's going on? When am I going to hear back? Oh, soon. And another week or 2 would go by, and I would ask, I was starting to panic a little bit, like there was a certain time period my home needed to be sold by, and needed to be put fully on the market. And I'm waiting and waiting and waiting, going back and forth. And I think it was a total of about 6 weeks, of going back and forth before they finally said, and this was like, not long before Christmas, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And, finally I got a response, and the response was that I was not approved. And the reason just didn't make sense to me. And so, of course, I'm arguing with the guy and explaining to him. And I actually did this through email, explaining like why I should be approved. And I didn't understand why I wasn't being approved. Anyways, I started to panic, even though I know about this. Started to panic. I was feeling really, worried and anxious and, fearful. Like, where are me and my children, my cats going to live now? What am I going to find? And so I'm panicking and I'm scrambling. And I had kind of been, looking just in case as a backup, and there was nothing. Okay. And one of the affirmations that I teach all of my clients that I do on a regular basis is to say and to affirm, everything is always working out for me. And actually, a second one is the universe always has my back, or God always has my back, or God is always taking care of me. Everything is always working out for me, and God, universe, is always taking care of me or always has my back, right? So I would interchange between those. And it was very easy for me to say that. And I really, truly did believe it because I have a lot, of faith. I've really developed that muscle within me. And I know that things are always going to work out. However, I was in a moment of fear, of panic, and that's okay. We're human. As conscious manifestors, we don't have to be perfect because we've all been manifesting our entire lives since we've been born, okay? It's just that we haven't been consciously aware of it. So I was in this panic and I thought, what am I going to do? And I kind of had this intuition to go and look online again on what I was using, to look for a place. And I thought, no, I've already done this so many times. I've been looking, there's nothing. And I heard it again, just look again. So I'm like, okay. So, listening to your intuition, practicing this, doing meditation, practicing how to hear your intuition, and actually listening to it when you hear it, is another kind of practice. And I had been practicing this for quite a while. So I really do. I hear it and I actually listen and, take action on my intuition. And so I went and I looked, and there was another place that was absolutely perfect. And to be honest, better than the one that I was, really wanting. And it was several $100s a month less. It was on a bus route. It actually had, same thing, attached garage and stuff, had a full basement, also brand new, like just amazing. And it was a lot closer to, things like schools and, the malls and, things like that, shopping and all this kind of stuff, which is great because I had, teenage children and, one that was about to turn an adult. So it was just great. And, we're a one family or one vehicle family. And so it was just nice to have that option. And they only had, 2 units left. And one was actually for the date that I wanted. And the other one was for a couple months later. A couple months earlier. But I didn't know about this. The one that they posted was only for the date that I wanted. And so anyways, it was posted, like I said, maybe an hour before I had received this news of being, rejected from the other place. And it had said that the next morning there was going to be an open house. And so I thought, how perfect is this? I would be there. As soon as they opened the open house, it was me and my little guy. We went and I pulled up and it was absolutely amazing. And I thought, this is great. I walked in the door and I knew this is it. I just knew without a doubt, this is it. I'm taking it. I actually wrote a deposit for the place right there and then. The gentleman said, don't you want to see the place? I just knew. And I walked around and the more I saw it, the more perfect that it was. And the interesting thing yeah, it was just absolutely amazing. I went and looked at the unit. It wasn't quite exactly what I wanted. It was in one sense, but not in some other ways. And, he had said, actually, there's another unit that's going to be available, but it's not for that date. It's actually a couple months earlier. And it wasn't the cabinetry color that I liked, but the location of it was so much better. And it was a little bigger. And I thought, you know what? Just something told me, take this. And to be honest, it was perfect that I did. So I got the place 2 months earlier than I actually wanted. Because of this, I was able to move slowly. It was during, the middle of winter. It was, COVID time. Don't know if I could say that on here, but anyways, pandemic. And it was, just so much better to have it at that time. So I moved slowly, was able to stage my home, start showing it, and it actually sold. And so interesting, the date of possession in that, it would have worked out if I still got the other place. However, this worked out so much better. So just all in all, I mean, kind of a bit of a story. There's so many other details too, but the gist of it was, now looking back, I could see all those bridges of incidents, and it was, happening all for me. It was, even though I wanted this one place, my desire, right, was a certain desire. And I was kind of making the other place fit because, yeah, it was perfect in so many ways, but there were, some things that wasn't great. And the universe knew there was better for me and aligned everything perfectly. And the interesting thing is that after I wrote the deposit check, or actually after, it wasn't that, it was actually a couple days later, I received, a phone call and letting me know that I had gotten the place. I was super happy, tears of joy, it was absolutely wonderful. And literally within minutes of me getting that phone call approving me for this second place, the first place emailed me back and said, actually, we have reviewed everything, we've looked it over, and we've changed our mind. We actually are going to approve you. And I said, no, thank you. I actually found a much better place that works for me. And I mean, like I said, a few $100s less. And to be honest, the way the property management is, they're absolutely amazing. Like I can't even say, anything bad. Like everything, I've been here 3 years and it's absolutely perfect. I love it. Everything worked out perfectly. And so this just solidified my faith and belief already in what I know and have experienced. So this is just one story of countless stories that I have. All of my clients that I teach this to are constantly coming in with stories, and it's just so amazing. Never ceases to amaze me how outrageous some of these stories are. And maybe I'll do a video on like all of these stories one day, with their permission, of course. But yeah, it's just incredible what happens. However, the point of this whole video is to let you know we don't know the bridge of incidents until after the fact. And good and bad things have to happen in order for you to get your desire. Sure, not always. Sometimes we can get a desire with, just the good things. But a lot of times there are things that seem like they're bad, but they're really not. They are just redirecting you to what is good. Okay, and to that desire that you want. So you might have some good things happen, you might have some not so great things or bad things happen, and you think that those things are bad, but they're actually not. They're actually, things that have to happen to get you your desire. Okay? So the next time that you are going through something difficult, or you've been trying to consciously manifest, or even if you don't even know about conscious manifesting, if you're just dreaming up things and you're desiring something, and you have faith and belief that you'll get this, and then things are happening that are opposite, or things are not really happening or not working out, or something not so great happens, or something bad happens, and you think, oh my goodness, maybe this desire is not for me, or I can't have it. In that moment, that is actually the moment that you need to persist. You need to continue. You need to keep pushing through. And I think I've actually done a video on persisting. So I'll post it up here if I have. But this is the moment that you need to have full faith and say, no. Another, affirmation I like to use in these difficult moments is somehow, some way, I'm going to get what I desire. Somehow, some way, this is all going to work out for me. Somehow, some way. It releases that resistance. It gets us back into that place of faith and belief that I can have what it is that I want. All right, my loves, I hope that this was helpful for you today. Thanks so much for being here with me. Don't forget to do all the things, like this video, comment down below, share my video and channel with others. If you know me, you know that one of my biggest passions is to help as many people as I possibly can. Don't forget to hit the bell icon so you get notified of new videos. And if you are new here, welcome. I would love for you to subscribe to my channel and be part of this ever-growing butterfly community. And for those who are subscribers, thank you so much for your ongoing support. And yeah, I hope you all have a wonderful day. And as always, I wish you all peace, love, and light. Until next time. Bye-bye.